Okay, Carmen Gamer here. This is like going to school. 30 years ago is when I got diagnosed with autism. Well, for my age range, for being 35, turning 36, back then, they mostly did detections in kindergarten, or a bit past that. But today, you can be diagnosed age 3, age 2, majority age 3, and about 50% at age 2. But for being 35 for my generation, the millennials got diagnosis in kindergarten. But 30 years ago is when I knew I had autism. I had autism for 35 years, but I was diagnosed with it 30 years ago in 1994. At age 3, when the psychiatrist was trying to do a diagnosis, interviewed my family and then mostly talked to me, and I stopped talking at age 3. Those are signs of getting autism. Now, you could be diagnosed at through age 3, but for my age, I just never thought anything of it. Just that people just thought I was super shy, and when my family just thought I was super shy. I just probably thought I was just a quiet kid. And then I was in kindergarten. I wasn't talking at school, but at home I was talking a lot. But I'm glad that I was diagnosed. And would I trade autism for anything? No, nothing in this world. But it's best to get diagnosed when you're younger so you can get early stuff done for you, early interventions, early things done for you, and get help that you need. And I've learned how to cope with it. In my teenage years, I did wish I didn't have autism. It was because I was subject to bullying, but the unfortunate thing is a lot of people on the spectrum are targeted for bullying. Especially those that have autism seems that you're like a walking Google. But the positive things is I can see things in patterns and stuff. I don't get bullied as much. Only those online trolls, but I learned to ignore them. Those trolls that troll your videos. Yeah, I learned don't feed the trolls. They'll just continue on with your videos. If you ignore them, they won't comment on your videos anymore. But having autism, I love it. I see the world in patterns. But getting a diagnosis is good because then you can get help and support. Some people don't get diagnosed until they're an adult, but that's because back then they didn't know how to screen for it. And a lot of people that are female have a harder time diagnosing them because they have a better way of masking it. Sometimes I mask my autism, but sometimes I just let it go free. Just depends on the day. Mostly I feel comfortable. And I'm glad that I'm on the spectrum. And I was diagnosed in September of 1994 when I was in kindergarten for the 1994-95 school year. And yeah, I was tested for every other invisible disability, and I was tested positive for autism. But that's awesome. And an adult, if you think you're on the spectrum, go talk to your family doctor. They can send you to the right people that can diagnose you and do all the right testing. And yeah, having autism, I'm glad I have it. Well, that's the end of this blog. I just wanted to tell you that 30 years that I knew that I had autism. And I'm glad. But I was born with it 35 years ago, but wasn't diagnosed until 30 years ago. And yeah, you're loved.